Welcome back, students. In this section, we are discussing about the electric current and electric potential difference. The term electric current, that is a common term which we are using daily. What is meant by this electric current and how this electric current is produced, that we have to consider in this particular section. Already we know that every matter is made up of atoms, and this atom contains the protons and neutrons inside the nucleus, and surrounding that nucleus electrons are revolving in certain orbits, and these protons, neutrons and electrons are considered as basic particles. Then some of the properties of these particles are already you familiar. Among that property, one of the major property is the electric charge or charge of these particles. Among these three particles, two particles has a property known as electric charge. Which are they? The protons, which is present inside the nucleus, and it consists of positive charge, and the electrons, which is revolving around the nucleus, consist of negative charge. The neutrons, which is present inside the nucleus, does not contain any charge, they are neutral. So, among these particles, these protons has positive charge and the electrons has negative charge. So, what is mean by this charge? Already we mentioned that it is a property. Okay, it is a property of these particles. Which kind of property? That is an inherent property. That means by the origin of these particles, certain properties are attained by that particles. Such kind of a property is known as the charge, which is responsible for its electrical behavior. Whenever we consider a particular particle, during the origin of that particular particles, certain properties like its mass and some of the particles, there will be color, then density, these kind of certain properties are there, which is responsible for its certain behavior in certain situations. Such kind of a property is the electric charge, which is responsible for its electrostatic behavior. And the electric charge is normally represented with capital letter Q. Then the unit of electric charge is considered as coulomb. Unit of electric charge is coulomb, and it is represented with the capital letter C. Electric charge, the amount of electric charge is represented with the capital letter Q. So, charge means it is an inherent property of a particle. Then electron has negative charge and proton has positive charge. Both these particles has the same magnitude of charge. Their polarity is different. One is positive and the other one is negative. That is why you are familiar that in a normal condition, electrically an atom is neutral, because whatever may be the number of protons present inside the nucleus, the same number of electrons are present around or surrounding that nucleus. So, these positive and negative charges cancels each other. So, the normal condition, an atom is electrically neutral, because the number of protons and number of electrons are same in an atom in the normal condition. So, both these particles have the same amount of charge, but opposite polarity. Okay. Then among these two charges, in the normal condition, the possibility of movement or comparatively the freedom of movement is higher for electrons, because electrons are revolving around the nucleus in a certain orbits. The positively charged protons are very tightly held inside the nucleus. So, the possibility of movement or freedom of movement is very less for this proton. Comparing with that proton, the electron is more possible to or more freedom for the movement. Then, if the electrons, a number of electrons are possible to move through a particular path, there arise the term electric current. if any of the charge is possible to move through a particular path that creates a particular electric current. So, we can generally define electric current as the amount of charge flowing through any cross section of a conductor in a unit time, that is known as the electric current. Amount of charge flowing through any particular material is known as the electric current. Normally the materials are classified into two broad category, and we can consider three category of materials such as the conductor, insulator, and in between them there is another category, semiconductor. So, based on the electrical conductivities or the ability of that material to allow the passage of these charges, whether it is electron or proton, the materials are classified into these three categories. One is this insulator, other one is semiconductor, and conductor. The conductor means the materials which allow the passage of these electric charges. Normally almost all the metals are good conductor of electricity. Then insulators means the materials which does not allow the passage of this charge or electron or proton. Then rubber, plastic, paper, almost all these materials are considered as the insulators. And semiconductors means they are the materials which lying in between these insulator and conductor. That means depending upon the situations, sometimes they are behaving as conductor and in some time they are behaving as insulator. Naturally occurring semiconductors are germanium and silicon. These are the naturally occurring two semiconducting materials, germanium and silicon. Okay. So, the electric current we can define as the amount of charge flowing through any conductor in a given interval of time, that is known as the electric current through that particular conductor. Already we know that the electric charge is represented with the capital letter Q and its SI unit is coulomb, represented with the capital letter C. So, how we can mathematically define the electric current? Amount of charge flowing through any cross section of a conductor in a given time. So, the electric current is normally represented with the capital letter I, and that physical quantity electric current is represented with capital letter I, and in order to express this electric current we require a particular unit. Then the SI unit of electric current is ampere. In the honor of that scientist Andre Marie Ampere, the SI unit of electric current is ampere and it is represented with the capital letter A. So, SI unit of electric charge is coulomb, represented with the C. SI unit of electric current is ampere, represented with the capital letter A. And how we can mathematically express this electric current? Electric current I equal to amount of charge flowing through the conductor in a given time. So, amount of charge divided by the time. So, electric current I equal to amount of charge Q divided by time small letter t. So, electric current I equal to Q by T. Electric current I equal to charge divided by time. So, Q by T. Another simple definition for electric current is it is a rate of flow of electric charge. Then normally we already mentioned that electrons are comparatively free to move. So, the charge means here electrons are the flowing charge. In order to create a current or generate a current, electrons are responsible. Okay. Then that is a definition of electric current and the mathematical expression for electric current. Electric current means amount of charge flowing through any cross section of a conductor in a given time. Electric current I equal to amount of charge Q divided by time small letter t. I equal to Q by T. Then electrons are the flowing charge, we already mentioned that, and charge of one electron is already determined. and its value is 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb. That is the charge of a single electron. 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb is the charge of one electron. Then, in order to obtain 1 coulomb of charge, how many electrons are required? Or if you have collected a number of electrons, in order to obtain 1 coulomb of charge, how much electrons are required? In order to find that one electron means 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb. So, 1 coulomb of charge means it is 1 divided by 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19. That is 1 coulomb equal to 0.625 into 10 raised to 19 electrons, or 6.25 into 10 raised to 18 electrons. That means 6.25 into 10 raised to 18 electrons are assembled together to obtain 1 coulomb of charge. Okay, we define the electric current as rate of flow of charge, or the amount of charge flowing through any cross section of a conductor in a given time. Then, how these electrons are possible to flow, or how these electrons are able to flow from one point to another point through a conducting material. In a normal condition, these electrons are unable to move from one point to another point. If it is possible, if you are considering a metal piece, then each and every metal piece should contain a certain amount of, or should carry a certain amount of electric current if the electrons are possible to flow freely. So, it is not possible to a free flow of electron. So, in order to move that electron, or in order to make the flow of electron, some external factor is necessary. Some external factor is required to create the movement of electron or flow of electron from one point to another point in any conducting material. And that particular external factor is known as the electric potential difference. Electric potential difference is the external factor required to create a flow of charge or required to generate an electric current. How we can define this electric potential and electric potential difference? Electric potential means it is a work done to bring a unit charge from infinity to that particular point, which point we are considered. It is a work done to bring a unit charge. Unit charge means 1 coulomb of charge. A unit charge from infinity to that particular point. That amount of work done is considered as the potential, electric potential at that particular point. Why it is considered as the work done to bring from infinity to that point? It is because it is unable to predict the exact origin of that charge. We are unable to predict the exact origin of that charge. So, we are considering the origin of that charge as infinity. We do not know about the exact origin of that charge. So, we are considering that charge is originated at infinity. In order to bring a unit charge from the infinity to the current location, we have to do a small amount of work, and that work is stored as the electric potential in that charge at that particular point. Electric potential at a particular point means it is the work done to bring a unit charge from infinity to that particular point. And the electric potential is represented with the capital letter V, and the SI unit of electric potential is volt, that is also represented with the capital letter V. Electric potential is represented with the capital letter V, and the SI unit of electric potential is volt, and that is also represented with the capital letter V. Then, in order to create a current flow or generate a flow of charge from one point to another point through any conductor, the necessary and sufficient condition is a potential difference between the 2 points or between the ends of that conductor. A potential difference is necessary condition to create a current flow. What is meant by this potential difference between that 2 points or between the initial point and final point of that charge? The potential difference between the initial point and final point or between 2 points in a conducting material is the work done to move a unit charge between that 2 points. The work done to move a unit charge from one point to another point is defined as the potential difference between that 2 points. The potential difference is also represented with the capital letter V and the unit SI unit is volt. And how we can mathematically calculate the potential difference between any two non-points in a conducting material? We have to consider the work done and the amount of charge. If we do a particular amount of work, not only a small amount of charge, not only a unit amount of charge is moving from one point to another point, a group of charge should move from one point to another point. In order to obtain the potential difference, we have to consider a unit charge or 1 coulomb of charge. And how we can find the work done to move 1 coulomb of charge between the 2 points? If W is the total work done and Q is the total amount of charge moved from one point to another point due to the work done W, we can find the potential difference between the 2 points as the potential difference V equal to total work divided by total charge, that is W divided by Q. If we divide the total amount of work with the total amount of charge, then surely it will give the amount of work required to move 1 coulomb of charge from one point to another point. That is the potential difference between the 2 points. So, the potential difference between 2 points is the work done to move a unit charge from one point to another point, and mathematical equation for the potential difference V equal to total work divided by total charge, that is V equal to W by Q, that is a mathematical equation, and the SI unit of potential difference is volt, that is represented with a capital letter V. So, electric current means it is a rate of flow of charge, then SI unit of electric current is ampere, mathematical equation for electric current I equal to Q by T. Then potential difference means the work done to move a unit charge from one point to another point. Then potential difference is represented with the capital letter V. Then mathematical equation for potential difference V equal to total work W divided by total charge Q, V equal to W by Q. The SI unit is volt and that is represented with the capital letter V. And we already learned that in order to create a current flow or generate an electric current, a potential difference is the necessary and sufficient condition. Then how can we create an electric potential difference between the ends of a conducting wire or a conducting material? How we can create a higher potential region and lower potential region between the ends of a conducting material? For that purpose, we are using the voltage source. The device which is used to create a potential difference between the ends of a conductor is known as a voltage source. And the commonly using voltage sources are cell or battery. Example for a voltage source is cell or a battery. A voltage source is required to create a potential difference between the ends of a conducting material. And how a voltage source such as this cell or a battery can create a potential difference between the ends of that conducting material or a conducting wire? Certain chemical reactions are taking place inside the voltage source, and as a result of that chemical reactions, one side or one terminal of that cell is created a higher potential or developed a higher potential region, and other end of that voltage source developed a lower potential region. Then when it is connected between that conducting wire, one side of that conducting wire is at higher potential and the other side of that conducting wire is at lower potential. That means between the ends of that conducting wire, higher potential region and lower potential region is created. As a result of that one, it is easy to flow the electric charge from higher potential region to lower potential region. So voltage source is the device used to create a potential difference in a particular situation. Then examples for these voltage sources are cell, battery. Then how these voltage sources are able to create a potential difference? With the help of that chemical reactions. Okay.